Money! Money!
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Tony Lau, professional Feng Shui consultant based in the United States. Last time we talked about the market trend for the 2021. Today we talk about investment associated with the metal element and the water element. We can see which stock will do better than other. By studying the element affiliation, we can predict which element will most likely turn out as a winner for 2021 versus the loser that we should be avoiding this year. Quick disclaimer for YouTube, I'm not a financial advisor. The content of this video is strictly for entertainment purpose only. To an extent, I'll use my professional opinion as a Feng Shui consultant. If you watch my zodiac analysis video, I usually separate people by their birth based on the seasons. So generally, without doing a full life analysis, we can assume that 80-90% of people born in the spring and the summertime will find benefit from metal and water. With that knowledge, we can further adjust our investing strategy based on the season that you were born in. For example, if you're someone that's born in summer, you'll most likely focus your investments in the metal and the water element sectors. Versus someone that's born in the autumn and winter season, you'll probably be focusing in wood element sector and the fire element sector. And then we got the earth element sector, which is generally neutral. Some company might have multiple elements depending on the type of business they're doing. For example, Tesla is actually a mixed element stock with like metal, water, and fire, where they manufacture automobile, but they also deal with transportation. Then they also deal with like the energy sector as well, with solar panel. You might see ups and downs with their business depending on the element strength for that 1 year. Since the dating series, I think people got a little bored, and when I get into the actual calculation behind the result. So I'll just skip that this time, and I did the calculation for you already. Before I begin, gently hit the like button for some good luck today. It might help your investment to recover from that bloodbath last week. Let's start with the first element, metal. So what I mean when I say metal element investment, first things obvious would be precious metal. As the name suggests, is metal, like gold, silver, copper. Those are definitely part of the metal sector. But if that company is a mining company that does gold, which is actually a mix between metal and earth, say a gold mining company, compared to just a gold retailer. Besides precious metal, you might have your basic material, who's also part of the metal element sector. Some of the stock that come to my mind will be aluminum makers such as Alcoa or Rio Tinto. Also have a big presence here in Utah. Then you have the industrial stocks such as Union Pacific or Honeywell, 3M. Those are like your industrial stock. All other stock in the defense sector. Basically any kind of manufacturer type of stock, you can assume they're a metal stock. There might be exception in some case, depends on what they manufacture. Well, robotics is actually a metal sector as well. And you got the car maker, like I mentioned Tesla earlier. Any kind of airplane manufacturer like Boeing or Airbus. Ship manufacturer are also metal investment as well. Builder specifically, not operator. Like cruise line, they're not metal. Unless they manufacture the ship and sells it to other companies. Then you have the watchmaker, such as these one, also or Swatch. I think Rolex is a private company, so you can't really trade publicly. You get where I'm coming from with this. Most tech stock are metal related, especially smartphone maker. They tend to manufacture that device. I think most smartphone maker are crossed between metal and fire. Samsung, Apple are definitely metal stock, but they also cross over to the fire sector as well. Many of the technology sector stock are part of the metal element category. They done quite well last year because we have the metal is number 1 in 2020. However, in 2021, dropped down back to the 4th rank. What does that mean? It means like you should convert your metal holding to different things. If you're just in the tech sector for short-term gain, I would consider switching it. Last week is a good example why you shouldn't be holding your metal stock. I think they ran out of steam for 2021. But the overall market should still be up this year. This is not a good outlook for metal investment this year for 2021. The next element after metal is water. Water is actually a great element for 2021. They took the top spot from metal as the number one element for the year. So which means any kind of water stock will definitely do well for 2021. Now on to the important part. What type of investment affiliate with the water element? Basically anything that moves, you can safely assume they're a water element investment. Any kind of transportation, most popular one is probably Uber and Lyft. And you got the airlines, you got the cruise line. Those are all great investment for this year. Great example would be Delta. They're still trading below the pre-COVID level. You can see the price continue to climb up as COVID restriction climb down. Plus, they've been getting some good PR from the way they're handling traveling restriction lately compared to the other airline. Another major player in the water element sector would be banks and the financial sector. As you know, in Feng Shui, water is money. Company that deal with money directly, that handles the money and financial transaction would be considered in the water element category. I would look at banks that are still trading below the pre-COVID level to find any potential winner for this year. Some stocks already trading above it, like BAC. Still got banks that are trading below the COVID level, such as Wells Fargo and Citibank. Both of these are still big players who are still trading below the pre-COVID level. So take some time to do some research before you commit to doing some actual investment. Any company that deal with logistics also belong to the water element category. Companies such as UPS, FedEx, those are both logistic stock. You might find like these smaller companies that deal with logistics, they probably do well this year. And also you have any company that deal with food distribution, not necessarily growing the food or manufacturing the food, but the process of distributing the food to different businesses such as Cisco's or US Food. Those would be the first company comes to mind. There are a couple other companies out there too that belong in this sector. I'll try and put a list of them on the screen. Obviously, you're born in the summer and spring season between March 3rd to August 9th. Seriously consider putting metal or water investment into your long-term portfolio. That they will not only benefit you for short-term, but rather in a long-term basis. How do I generally proceed with this knowledge is, if I just want to be lazy, I'll just buy some index fund or some ETF that tracks the sector I mentioned. For example, water sector. Don't like banks, airline would do well. I would find a bank or airline ETF and just buy and hold, forget about it. Or you can do what some of my Feng Shui mentors done. They don't know the first clue about investing. So what they do, they just find 10 stock in that sector and buy them. Usually 9 out of 10 of them will turn out good. And they might lose on one of them, but that's still a win overall. If you made it to the video this far, definitely consider subscribing. I was looking at the analytics the other day, and I found out that only 4% of you are subscribed, which is really sad. I'm hoping to get over 1,000 subscribers this year. It's definitely helped the channel. You can subscribe. Also, comment down below if you have any question. I usually do my best to answer all of the comments, even though they might be a couple weeks old. I'll still try my best to answer them. And stay tuned for the next video. I'll continue going over all of the 5 elements. We talk about the opposite of metal and water, which is wood and fire. They actually benefit those that are born in the autumn and winter time. So stay tuned.